Babu's wife, and Hani Babu is an associate professor in the University of Delhi. So he is not a person who you would usually, think of as somebody who would go to prison for his activism, because he was really focused on the university. He was not, if you look at the other people in the Bhima Koregaon case, many of them have questioned corporates and the mining industry. Very powerful kind of interrogation they have done. But Hani Babu's work was very within the university, and also he is not somebody who was associated with leftist groups. Within the university also there are different types of groups, so it was not that that. So people are really shocked both from every side, that why is such a person in prison. So actually I don't know, I really don't know how it has come to our this thing. So I'll just try and say some things about him. So when he was, first of all, what happened is that as people in the Department of English, there was another professor called G.N. Sai Baba. Maybe all of you know about him. So he's also from English. He's also South Indian, and we were also neighbors. So Babu was very active in the defense committee for G.N. Sai Baba. But again, that was a defense committee that had so many other professors and so many other radical left people and big writers like Arundhati Roy, and so many people were there. But why Babu was picked up from that defense committee and arrested, I think maybe towards the end I'll say more about it. But about Babu, he is from Kerala. So he belongs to the OBC Muslim community in Kerala, which is in the Malabar region. So he's not, he's coming from a very ordinary family, and we are like the first generation people who have entered universities through reservations. So from the beginning, and our parents were all very leftist because we are also Malayalis. So, but we have left that kind of politics, and ours was a very Dalit Bahujan politics while we were studying. Babu was like that even when he was doing his PhD. We did our PhD together in FLU in Hyderabad. So we both were in the English department, but I worked on cinema and Malayalam cinema, and he worked in theoretical linguistics. So he was very interested in theoretical linguistics at that time, but which was very cut off from social questions and all. But he was very politically active in the campus. Even as a student, he was a very active person. Then he would take up cases about reservation, and this is also the time like post post 95, that period when the universities were beginning to have this Dalit Bahujan consciousness, because the reservations, even SC/ST reservations, were not fully implemented in any of the universities. So the universities were very elite spaces. And when we came in, it was like there was a lot of conflict between people like us, and even I am coming from an OBC community, but I am Hindu lower caste community. Babu is Muslim OBC. And this Dalit Bahujan consciousness was very important for us, because we found everything very alienating. We found it pedagogy or the teaching, or the structure of the classroom, or even the constituency was very alien to us. And from the beginning, Babu was interrogating that. He's basically a person like that, because he's political and he's in this space. He would interrogate that space. Then from Hyderabad, he came to Delhi University in 2008. So in Delhi University, it's worse than Hyderabad. At least in South India, it's slightly different. In Delhi University, what we found when we came here is like, the classroom is so elite. It's a very Savarna, Brahminical kind of space, and reservations were there in name. The Sec Mandal 2 had happened, but they were like not really taking people, they were not properly implementing reservations. So what Babu did is he created this OBC Teachers Association, which was not very, they were not very organized at that time. So he created this academic forum for social justice, and he started working within that. And he was questioning the reservation policy. So they had some really wrong I'm not going into the details of all the laws and all rules, but they had these very problematic rules through which they kept away the OBC students even after the reservation Mandal 2 was implemented. So if you look at the classroom, like even I entered university through OBC reservation. But my classroom was like 25 people. Of that, 2 or 3 SC/ST students, rest were all elite Delhi students. This was the situation in 2008 when we came to the university. So then Babu, he took up this 1-year mission of sending RTIs to all the colleges. So what is happening is that OBC reservation is implemented in paper. They are also getting funds because there was an expansion of seats. They are getting crores of rupees. Every college is getting crores of rupees. But due to false laws, which is not only in Delhi, even JNU and other places also, they were not allowing OBC students to come in. So Babu put an RTI which found out how much money colleges are getting and how many seats they have filled. So by finding out this, he brought out very clearly that they are taking so much money. Yeah, they're taking so much money. Is my internet going?
No,
Is
it's
it
fine.
clear?
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So they're taking, yeah. So they're taking so much money in the name of OBC, but the classrooms do not have OBC students. So he went in many directions. Like he gave a legal case, and he also did this RTI, which was then the OBC organization started approaching the parliamentarians. They went to OBC parliamentarians and talked to them. And also JNU, also lots of people from different universities came together. JNU people also, OBC students, gave a case. Eventually the Supreme Court passed, that 27% should be implemented, and that all these rules they are not proper rules, that you should give 27 and you should not convert OBC seats to general seats. Okay, I'm not putting it very clearly, but it's something like this. And after that, OBC reservations had happened. If today you go to a Delhi University classroom, you will see that 50%, more than 50% of students are from SC/ST OBC background. Okay, this was not the case when we came in. And many teachers within the university have worked to make this happen, make this shift happen. And so much has changed. Okay, so when I also came to the university, I came in through OBC reservation. I was the first person to enter my college. It's a very elite college called Miranda House. So 1 year, after my probation, they tried to push me, they tried to not give me permanent job, because they were not happy with the way I was, because I was not listening to, they had all these kind of rules and all that, which is above the university statutes, and I was not ready to listen to that. So they tried to push me out of the job. It is at this point that we had known GN Sai Baba as a member of English department. But this time GN Sai Baba was the person who came forward and asked me to write a open letter to the entire university, and he also mobilized people, and people came in front of my college and protested. And so when then my job was saved, so I was able to continue. I was given permanent, my job became permanent. So then what happened is, later in when GN Sai Baba was in trouble, Babu also never went back. There were many teachers who were closely associated with him, but who didn't stand by him. But Babu was not one of those people. He stood by him, and he was very active in the defense committee. And that is how I think, when I look at this case, what I feel is that I think the government is afraid of left plus Dalit Bahujan forces coming together. So we are not proponents of that kind of politics. I am personally that I don't think of this combination red plus blue kind of thing. That is a what do you say? That is a formation that is there in India. And I think the government is very afraid of that formation. Why? And why is that the most powerful formation? I don't know about all that. I have to, maybe that's, no, I don't think it is, but the government thinks it is. And I think that is why this person is a Muslim, and he's talking about anti-caste issues. And not only this, okay, he gave a case against discrimination also. Like, for example, there used to be forms, what is it, application forms that are there for SC/ST students was completely different from the application forms that are given for general and other students. Okay, at that time OBC was not there. So they were different, so different. So Babu made videos about it. He put it on YouTube. He worked with Dalit Camera also. That is the channel for bringing out these issues. So he also gave a case, and they won the case. And he worked with the SCST, working the non-teaching staff who also worked with him. So that was one way. And also even in the higher education, even in FYUP, there was this change of course that happened in Delhi University, change to FYUP. Even during that time, Babu wrote about it. He was part of all the mobilizations that were there. And another major field of interest for Babu is language. So as I told you, he was first interested in theoretical linguistics. But the more he started getting into these kind of issues, he started thinking about the language policy. So he has written about the language policy, and he used to have courses, he used to run courses on the language policy. So even in the classroom, he was able to reach out to students from very different marginal communities, and make sense to them, which is not something that happens in these kind of universities, because most of the things goes over our head. So in all these fields, Babu was able to so I think that is why this combination of a Muslim plus, looking at Dalit Bahujan issues, and then having these connections with GN Saiba, which was actually a very personal connection, was, and also that that political connection for standing for his.
I can't hear you, Jenny.
Now, yeah. Others also can't hear.
I can hear well.
Okay, sorry. That was my own device. Sorry about that.
Okay. No, what I was saying is that maybe this is the reason that he got he got targeted, that he's a combination of these identities. Maybe that in this case, I think that is very important. If you look at Kabir Kala Manch also, you look at other people also, they have worked with marginalized group, but from a leftist kind of this thing. But Babu was not politically belonging to that group. He was an Ambedkarite and a Dalit Bahujan activist. Now what happened is that we get this for us. What happened is in 2019 they raided our house. Okay, so till then see, working for the Sai Baba or working for his rights was itself seen as something that people should not do. People were like afraid. Many teachers were afraid to actually stand with Sai Baba. For example, once there was this program to go and visit Sai Baba in jail. So there were a lot of teachers who gave their names that we'll all go. That is why Babu also agreed. So, but the night, 2:30 a.m., we get a call from the last teacher. Everyone dropped out. And the last teacher was telling us at 2:30 at night that I'm also not coming. My wife was saying that don't go. If you go, don't come back, kind of thing, situation. But Babu went. He went alone. Okay. He went alone and he visited I think he was in hospital at that time. He visited Sai Baba. He was thinking that I am a university teacher, and at that time we were thinking that they will only catch Maoists. That is what we thought, that if we are not Maoists, why would the police? And we are not very important people. We are just very, very limited to the university sphere. So Babu really didn't see a big kind of danger there, though many people had told us that it is not good to associate with these people or not. But he went ahead, and for various reasons he went ahead, and I think that's why they came after him. So first they raided our house, saying that there is something in Rona Wilson's computer which says that you are associated with this Bhima Koregaon Elgar Parishad. Actually, Babu didn't go there. He was not part of Elgar Parishad, or he didn't really know all the politics of Elgar Parishad also very clearly. Later only we started finding out. The raid was a huge thing. They were in the house for 6 hours. And what is very interesting is that, we have a lot of boxes and all that in our houses. They were not looking into the boxes, or they were not looking into our, shelves and all that. They were looking at the books. Okay, basically they were going on looking at the books, and eventually they were videographing the books and all the different books that Babu has. And he has books, like different types of books. And then they also took away 2 books that is that is available. One book is available, that Naveen Babu's book is available online, and the other book also again it's available on Amazon. Okay, So they took away that book as evidence. They put it in a cover and sealed it. And it was a really farcical, and so many police officers coming to us. We were very scared, and there were protests in Delhi University and all. Then they come back 1 year later. There was a summons that was sent to us, and in that Babu was asked to go for interrogation. That time also, that's the last time I saw him. I mean, that's the last time he has been in the house. So he said he'll come back in a day. He just went with his mobile phone and purse, okay, thinking that they'll just interrogate him and send him back. But they kept him for 5 days. Okay, he would go to the hotel at night and then come back for interrogation. And basically, they were telling him to implicate anybody else, somebody else. They wanted him to say that somebody else has put. If you don't know about these documents, they found documents in his computer, some 62 documents, and they showed it to him. They said, "See, these documents prove that you are a deadly Maoist and you have lots of connections with Maoists. This is enough to prove that you're a Maoist." Then Babu said, "I have never seen these documents. I have never put these documents in my computer. How did it come here?" Then they said, "Okay, if you didn't put it, then who put it? Okay, just give us a name. Did Rona Wilson's friend put it? Did a student, said some active student's name and said, did these students put it?" Then Babu said, "No one touched my computer, only I touched my computer." So he refused to go give any kind, he didn't implicate anybody. And on July 28th, 2020, they arrested him. So now we have gone for bail in the Sessions Court, that is the trial court, or the what is called NIA court. So the order will come out on Monday. They're saying that the order will come out on Monday, but the lawyers are saying that there is no hope in this court because they're like rubber stamps. They just, whatever the NIA says, they will do. Now, the only evidence against Babu and against any other people are these documents that have been found from their computers. You read the charge sheet. There is no evidence of Babu going to Bhima Korega, that celebration. No evidence of Babu doing anything physically, nothing that he has gone somewhere or talked to anybody or been in, nothing physical evidence is not there. Only this paper, this documents, folders that were there in the computer is shown. And that is what is used to implicate him. Now, Arsenal and other forensic firms have come out and said how these documents were put out from outside. So basically, I think they are trying to make a kind of example of a person, and they want to attack academics. This is my reading, is that they want to attack these academics here, but they're not catching a powerful person. They're actually caught a very marginalized person within academia as a kind of scapegoat, to show everyone, Dalit Bahujans and everyone, that even a person like Babu can be put in prison. Everybody knows he's not connected to all these groups and everybody knows his politics. You just come and ask, everybody will know who he is. So even such a person can be implicated and put in prison. So I think it's a warning, and Babu also sees it like that they are going to really change academics in various ways. So maybe this is a kind of warning to everybody. So this is what I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jenny. We will certainly ask questions now, and Veena or Faisal may start. I have myself a few questions, but Veena, do you have also a question or a couple of questions? You're muted. You're muted.
Why don't you go ahead first? I will ask. I do have a couple of clarificatory questions, basically.
Okay. So mine are very precise questions, so maybe it's better to begin with these ones. Clarification mostly. These documents, you said 62 documents. What are they about? What do they say? What is there?
It's like, many of them are, I remember one document is about Surat, the Surat planning of Surat, about some town planning of Surat. That is a general document. But then there are these letters. That is like people are writing to another, one person is writing to another person. And they are saying that, Babu is supposed to have like another name. So I can't say the name now, but he's supposed to have another name in these letters. So that they're writing to each other and saying this person will get these interviews. This person will get foreign delegation, all that. He will fix up appointments with foreign delegations. So this kind of thing. And even I think one letter also refers to arms dealing and all that. But it's not, it's like one name is said and the police is saying that this man is you. This person who is mentioned here is you. That person is Rona Wilson. This person is Sai Baba, something. It's all letters that is mainly incriminating.
Okay. And these documents are in the possession of your lawyer, of your advocate?
Yeah, even I have it.
Okay. Now that is a very interesting evidence.
That is the charge sheet. That is its evidence. Yeah.
Yes. And your suspicion is that they have been planted in the computer.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course. And my other question was also about, did he know before the other Bhima Koregaon accused? Was he in relation with these 15 people or so?
Actually, he knew Rona Wilson because he was part of the defense committee and he's also from Kerala. So he knew him. They became friends after meeting as part of the defense committee. So he knew Rona Wilson. Other Bhima Koregaon, Gardling, I think because he was working for Sai Baba's case, I think he had met Gardling when he went to meet Sai Baba. I think he has met him once. But other people, during the interrogation, the police was saying that you know Anand Teltumde. So how does Babu know? Because he attended a seminar where Anand Teltumde was speaking. So he was one person in the audience and Babu had asked him to come and send him a mail saying that you come and you speak in Delhi University. So otherwise he doesn't know. He doesn't know Sudha Bharat. We didn't know these people only. Sudha Bharadwaj, Father Stan Swami, all these people, we didn't even hear about them.
And the larger question, and then Faisal will have, I'm sure, other questions for you, but clearly he was very implicated with the Dalit Bahujan movement, Ambedkarites and others, Dalit Camera and so on. Today, is this nebula of Dalit Bahujan helping in any way, mobilizing?
Yeah. Dalit Camera is actually Dalit Camera is set up, is founded by Babu's student. He was Babu's he's Rais now. So he was Babu's students from the beginning. Okay, from MPhil time, he was very close to Babu. So they have been standing with us. They have, they have made a web page for Babu, and they in the beginning they used to have programs for all that. And even all the OBC intellectuals that Babu were associated with, they have come and spoken publicly about Babu, who Babu is, and about Babu's activism within that. Yeah, they are supported.
Okay, very good. Faisal?
Yes, thanks. Thanks, Jenny. You were mentioning, I thought it was so interesting how the focus is now not on important people, as it were, but on everyday people.
Yeah.
And that seems to be a reversal of the, if you will, vision of security in India as in other countries, where you always seem to want to nab so-called ringleaders and therefore frighten everyone else. And here you seem to be saying is that you will leave the stars or the internationally known names alone, and just actually get at people who may not have done anything at all. Even the stars may not have done anything at all, but they are known and they are visible. So it's a very interesting situation of chilling debate and solidarity from the bottom up rather than from the top down. And I think that also works with what you were saying about how the university has become a site of suspicion and not necessarily even political parties. So, I wonder if you might say something more, not only about that, but about how, to begin with, the distinctions between, since you made the distinctions several times, between Dalit Bahujan politics on the one hand and leftist politics on the other. And you seem to suggest that in some ways the Dalit Bahujan movement appears to be more threatening for whatever reason. or that its combination with the left seems to be more threatening. So for viewers who may not know, maybe just to begin with the distinction between those two traditions and their interactions, and then maybe say something about the academic spaces, which, as you say, are being, taken over, not taken over, but have increased numbers of Dalit Bhojan students and teachers such as yourselves, and therefore have been made available to attack.
Yeah, I was not saying that Dalit Bahujans, I was saying the second thing, that is, I think for the government, this combination, this is something that I have thought myself. I think this combination is very threatening. Okay, Dalit Bahujan as such or leftist groups as such is not threatening, I feel. When we look at this case especially, and then Muslims also. When you look at the other cases, you have, in the Delhi genocide case, you have, Muslims are threatening. That is always there. But here you see this kind of thing. Well, by Dalit Bahujan, I mean that you come from a tradition of Phule, Ambedkar, Periyar, reading them, you use them to theorize, you talk about, you assert that kind of a identity. Okay, you talk about that identity, and you talk about, for example, if you look at Babu's early politics in FLU when he was a PhD scholar, he was talking about vegetarianism in the campus. So you question it, you question Brahminism basically. Okay, that is and Brahminism in all ways, Brahminism that monopolizes spaces, Brahminism that kind of pushes most of the others outside, that tries to establish a cultural hegemony. You question, that is Dalit Bahujan politics. And leftist is mostly, they think about, they don't see caste, they see mostly class as, they see the working class and they see the proletariat, and they don't address this question of that is the politics of the leftist groups, that they really don't address the politics of caste. But in these kind of combination, when Dalit Bahujans and left groups come together, they are mostly radical left. Okay, so even when GN Sai Baba was around, we had a lot of differences with him. Like most of the time our conversations are conflicting, we don't agree. We try to create even a teachers organization, but we fought about even how to write the manifesto of that organization, because they wouldn't even use the words SC, ST, OBC. Like they won't use the word India, they would use Indian subcontinent. So they won't even use those. They think that they are status categories, but we are somebody because we are from within these categories. Otherwise we are not even here. So that kind of difference is there. But when it comes together, I think caste also gets addressed in a different way. So I think the government is afraid of this, I feel. Whether they are right to be afraid, I don't know.
So the leftists are not necessarily belonging to the usual.
No, I'm talking about the radical left groups. Like Sai Baba and all, they belong to radical left. They are not the CPM kind. They seem to have a better understanding of caste, and even Muslim issues also. That is also very much there. They are ready to associate with Muslim parties. Like there are many Muslim groups like Fraternity, SIO, and all. Most of these conventional leftists, they don't associate with these parties. They think that they are, what, I don't know what. They're not secular enough or something. But these radical left groups in the Delhi University, they are ready to associate with all these kind of. But Dalit Bahujan groups really have a very big suspicion about left groups, because first of all, we feel it is a counter. We feel it's a Savarna formation. We feel it is a Brahminical formation. And if you look at situations like in Kerala, we feel it's a counter to the anti-caste movement. We don't even see that they were talking about the proletariat. We feel that they came up as a counter to the anti-caste movement of the 19th and early 20th century. So Dalit Bahujans are really suspicious of this thing. But I think Babu's mixed identity of being both Ambedkarite and also Muslim did not allow him that kind of that space within Dalit Bahujan politics also, which I have, because I am a Hindu. Actually, my name is Christian, but I am actually a Hindu lower caste person. I can easily belong to Hindu Dalit Bahujan spaces, but Babu might not have been able to do that because he also has this Muslim identity, which is often not addressed within the Dalit Bahujan sphere. So all these complications are there.
Thank you. That's really, really fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Veena, any special?
Yeah, I had a couple of just question, just again, very clarificatory. One is clarificatory, one is your opinion I would be seeking. The first is a lot of the time there is I mean, clearly they are you seem to say that that the pressure on Babu has been partly to turn him from an accused to a witness, so to say. That is, they're completely collapsing the category of who's an accused, who's a witness. And that has been a feature of a lot of cases under TADA and so on, that, they will say that this person needs to be kept in custody because he has information. But they don't tell you, how they know that this person has information. So I wanted to ask you whether they put pressure on you or on his friends or his family to kind of, either in terms of threats or in terms of, saying, persuade him to do this or such and such will happen. Were there any such pressures which sort of, spilled out from there to include others?
No, not on the family. They have no connection with us. But he was talking to us during those 5 days. So we could have pressurized him to actually, listen to them. But we are not going to make any deal with the police. We are also very suspicious of this whole, police institution itself. So none of us, the family also would never tell him to do what the police was saying. But there was immense pressure on him. Not only those 5 days, then they kept him 10 days and 7 days in NIA custody. At that time, they even, they even did blackmailing. I can't say the details here, but they even used blackmailing techniques on him to get him to agree. So either they wanted a good witness or they wanted to get himself to implicate. So if he had agreed, then he would be implicating himself and everybody else. So that would be a very good thing for their case. Their case is not going anywhere because they have nothing in their hands. So, but he stood his ground, and they even said that we'll send you to Arthur jail, away from the other Bhima Koregaon people. You go sit in Arthur jail, and it's more horrible than Taloja jail. So we'll send you there, and you think about it. Don't get influenced by these people. But when he came out of custody and he was being taken to this thing, we had a discussion, he and my daughter also. We also decided that we are not going to listen to what they are going to say, whatever it is. We will say the truth. Then we can't handle, if you say lies, then it's very difficult for us to go on with our lives. So he also said that I am comfortable saying what is the truth and I will continue. Will you support me? And we all said that we'll support you however long it will take. So he decided not to implicate anybody or himself. Yeah.
But you don't know whether there are others outside family, like have they been tracking who he, others like his colleagues or other students, or because in other cases that at least I've looked at, the net becomes pretty wide. And then they will release them after a while, but this imperative to kind of assume that somewhere, if they are able to get a confession or if they are able to get a, leads to all these kind of micro tactics, if you will. So I'm wondering whether whether this was confined to the family and him and known associates, or did it spread more widely?
No, actually, many people are not telling also. So we will not know. That is the thing. There are a lot of people who are being questioned at this time. So some people whom we know also, but they are not even saying that we made it into a press thing and we went to the media and we made it a public thing. A lot of people are like very hush-hush and very strange because they are big civil rights activists and all. But when it is somebody else's case, they'll make it into a big media affair. But when it is their own case, they are being very, quiet about it. So we really don't know who all they have they have gone. But they went to his house in Kerala. And they tried to look at his bank account, trying to find some kind of, if he has got some funding. So they looked at each and everything. Some land and all was sold. So they went and asked the people, even the people who bought the land, they were so scared. They were brought in and asked whether you really bought this land. And so that kind of thing, but they couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
Nothing could be found.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So there is that fear that they've created by which now people are actually not totally coming out and saying.
Yes, that is very much there.
Right. Okay. The other question, I mean, you feel free to say totally that I'm totally wrong on that. That'd be fine, because I've been away for the last 2 years from India, and so I'm a little on the shaky ground. But when I was in Delhi, and just relating to other friends now in DU and JNU and so on and so forth, I mean, one of the tactics that the BJP has been using is to actually fill up the leadership positions through Dalit OBCs, right? So the OBCs are actually very important within the BJP movement itself. So, if you look at places like Allahabad, you look at their leadership, but also look at who they're posting where. These are actually very strongly, they have managed to kind of really get support also from the Dalit OBC groups, but right. And I'm wondering whether that has had an effect, because, one thinks that this is a very united kind of thing, but surely there are those kinds of divisions, and whether that has had any impact upon the way the case is moving.
See, from the time of colonialism, they have always used brown people. They have used Indians to rule. So I think the Congress also did that. They have used the word. See, without Bahujan support, without Gandhi being able to convince everybody that, he is our leader, there is no Gandhi. No? Only if upper caste believe in Gandhi, there is no Gandhi here. Gandhi is a great man because he convinced all of us. He was able to convince all of us. So similarly, I feel this is what they are doing. If you want to rule here, you have to convince Dalit Bahujans, whether it is Congress or BJP. I don't think that there is a new thing that the BJP is doing. This is what they have been doing all along, because we are the majority. We have to agree to whatever that rule that is there. So they'll have to give that space to us. Without that, but I think sir has written an article also about that. The OBCs have actually lost out. It has actually taken away the all that has come up through the Mandal, after Mandal, whatever has happened. We have lost our politics now. We have lost out. We have not gained from it. So they're not really helping us. But these symbolic tokenism and, that everybody does. The colonizers did, then Congress did. I think now the BJP is also doing.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm really talking about very specific ways in which the techniques have been basically now to fill up every lower position. That's what the left also did, in the sense that this was their strategy to say only certain kinds of left will be placed in.
But what is the use if they are filling it up with their people? No, like for example.
I know. I'm not saying that they're doing good or bad or they're doing it for this. I'm just thinking about what techniques they have been using and whether there was that pressure. In the university, I know that one felt tremendous pressure by virtue of the fact that, that increasingly every position had to be filled in a certain kind of way. And the, local teachers union, for example, also were very severely divided between the BJP, as you know, and, the SFL and like that.
But
so I'm just curious whether in following specific cases, whether you're finding those kind of obstacles. So one is the obstacle really of the fact that a lot of people are too intimidated to speak. And you said all the teachers who signed up to go, even to visit, withdrew, right? With it. So that's the fear element which they've tried to create probably. But the other might be, I'm just wondering whether you've encountered that sense that, that there is some shift, or you think it's just the same shift in terms of the this technology of really concentrating on this very micro techniques of dominance.
No, I don't
I'm
think
not
there is
making
a
myself
shift.
clear.
No.
Micro
I
techniques
understand.
is
Yeah,
that-
I don't believe that there is a shift. I believe there is an intensification of whatever it is there, and it is very blatant and out in the open. But I think the structure of Indian society itself is like that. For example, earlier all the posts used to go to left people. The jobs, like I was denied a job because like I tried to go to the department, but it went to people who had connections with BJP. That is there, that is happening even to me personally. But still I will say that this has been the structure. Otherwise, how did some communities come to monopolize everything in India? Okay, if this kind of if it was all fair, if everything was going according to regulations, how is it that every field there is so much of monopoly? So that monopolization has always been there. So systems have not been working. Okay, the systems that we have here have not been working. And now what is happening is that and reservations were left unfilled. So now they are coming and filling up the reservation, not only because they are filling, now they can't go without filling up the reservation. We had done that fight. Dalit Bahujan intellectuals have done that fight where it is imperative for them to fill up these reservations. But now power is in their hands, so they are filling it up with their people. So the problem is, how is all these leftist universities like DU and JNU, how did they not think about reservations? How did they exist like this as Savarna bubbles for so long? So BJP is just using that loophole, and whoever comes is their people, and they are like useless for any kind of politics. So political people don't fall for all this. They know, they can understand what they have done to Mandal Commission and the movements that came after, but not so political people. When Congress was in power, they will be with Congress. If BJP is in power, they'll be with BJP. I see that everywhere.
And what about the administration of Delhi University? How has the VC and others reacted to Ani Babu being in jail for so long?
Yeah, by the time Babu went to jail, when Sai Baba went to jail, they had a Congress VC, but now we have a BJP VC. So they are very hostile. They stopped his salary. Actually, I should be getting half of his salary immediately. Sai Baba got it immediately, but I had to go without his salary, and we had loan on the house and all. For almost 9 months, I didn't get salary. And because they said we have to ask the NIA. No administration does like that. Earlier administration was slightly, that's what I said, it's intensified. Everything has become very brutal and violent now. So they have been very hostile. Now also I don't know, they were giving one amount, suddenly they have reduced some. Now I have to go and fight for that. It's just like that, no reason given, they have reduced again. So yeah, so they're very hostile.
Do you receive any help, any support from others?
Yeah, I've got a lot of support. When Babu was ill, we wanted a lot of money, so we got a lot of support. But we didn't have any public campaign or anything, because then that leads to a lot of problem. But friends have helped out. And Babu was in Germany for, I forgot to mention that, for around, he did his second PhD in Germany. So the supervisor is very close to the people there. So they also helped out. University of Vienna and all, they also helped out a lot.
Okay. What is the situation at the moment in jail?
Situation with us, the jail situation is very bad. Again, it's a very inhuman kind of institution. It's like 70% of prisoners are under trials. Many of them have got bail, but they don't have money to pay the bail. So, and it's like the food is very bad. The sleeping area is very bad. Babu is in a huge hall with 40-50 people. Sometimes it goes to 55. So there is no place to turn also. So many months he could not even turn in his sleep. He had to sleep in one position. So it's a very bad situation. But the thing is, if you look at all these people, they are trying to do the best even in jail. So he didn't know how to read the Quran and all before going to the jail. But there are so many Muslims in jail, and so many people who know the Quran so well. So he learned to read the Quran very well now. And he also now he's learning Urdu. And he's also teaching others English, and he's also helping out slightly in legal issues. Babu also, I forgot to say, Babu also did a degree in law. because he was fighting so many cases with the administration. So eventually he went for evening classes and finished a degree in law. So he's helping some people with that and teaching English. So he's trying to be very positive and seeing this as a very political thing, not a, not a personal thing. And see, this country is so hierarchical, and the kind of injustice that is there in this country is unbelievable. We know very well about it. But when now it has just come to our house, we were privileged to have a government job and escape, but our family, members of our family, so many people are not in a very good position. Now we are one among them. We see it like that. We are in a worse, like so many others. And Babu always says that we are so much better. We have lawyers, we have people to help us, we have people to talk about us. But the conditions in jail is so bad. There is such inhuman, and the jailers and all, they don't, I think in India that concept of human being is not there. That concept of modern concept of citizen, whatever critique you have, but the modern systems are all there. All the modern systems are there, but there is no concept of a modern person. That so a person is valuable only according to their class or their caste. If they don't have that, then that person is not a human being. You can do anything. You can torture them, you can kill them, you can. So many people die off in jail, it seems. They just get ill and they die. So we are even in jail, we are in a much privileged position, because we could reach up to this point. We could study and come up to doing our PhD and coming to university. So he's trying to manage.
Yeah. Do you visit him often?
Yeah, we used to, but then they stopped due to COVID. So then we used to go every 15 days we used to go. But then now they stopped due to COVID. So then we get phone calls. Now that has also stopped. We'll start visiting once again.
So when have you met him last time? For the last time?
December 27th, we met him. Then we got many calls, video calls. We get video calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do the lawyers say? What is the next step?
See, after before they said that it's a long haul, it will take 10 years, 7 years, 10 years, long haul. They kept saying this, but now after Arsenal report and after now Sentinel report also has come. So there is some hope, and Sudha Bharadwaj was left off on bail. So maybe now I think they never give us hope. They say that it's a long haul. Such cases take a very long time. But we are hoping that there is some, yeah.
Of course.
Hopefully, I think what you are hoping will turn out to be the right thing. And, lawyers also sometimes don't want to commit because they feel that it's better not to be committal. So I really very courageous ways you are dealing with it. And so, we think a lot about how courageous you all have been.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny, for this testimony. And I will stop the recording now.